Welcome to this video. In this video, I'm having a chat with a friend of mine that has sold a tremendous amount of services to different businesses, different people, and has successfully sold AI services too, because you can learn how to build different systems that do amazing stuff. But if you don't sell them and if you don't close, then you have no business. And personally, I had been off YouTube now for a while, actually selling and delivering AI to businesses, corporations, smaller businesses, very big businesses, other agencies, helping them with their systems. And I'm coming now back to YouTube with actual content that is going to be helpful to grow a business. So here's the video and I hope you enjoy it. Welcome everybody. We have Callum here in this video today. Callum is a very, very experienced closer, very experienced in selling different services. You have been selling different services and different products along the years. In today's video, we're going to talk about selling AI, because you've been selling AI very recently and you have been in the trenches, you have been in the action, and you have understood the different struggles regarding selling AI, different niches. You have been selling in not only one niche, so different niches, etc., etc. And we're going to talk about different tips. And one more thing that I'd like to say is that Callum is, again, extremely experienced, and he has taken, again, correct me if I'm wrong, you have taken a company from 50K a month, right? Selling not AI and not digital services, but a specific company, up to $500,000 a month, selling consistently, not only for 1 month, not only just one spike and that's it, but consistently. So yeah, Callum, is very good to have you here.
Thank you, Fibos. Great to finally get this going. So yeah, I've been in sales, just to give a little brief background. I've been in sales for many, many years, out in the real world selling, so to speak. So not just the online selling, many years doing home improvements, legal services, finance services, all sorts of things. But since the pandemic, I've been completely focused on online closing and online selling. So I've been doing that for a few years, helped scale companies, helped build sales teams. But more recently, my focus has been more switching to AI services. You know, talking to your community, I know I'll be preaching to the choir here, but, you know, AI is here. It's going to take everything. It's just a matter of time. So as a salesman, of course, I want to be involved on the forefront of this huge new industrial shift. So yeah, I'm happy to talk about that today. I think I've got some interesting stuff to share. So yeah, happy to be here, mate.
That's amazing. Likewise. So just off the top of my head, one question that I have is, I want you to tell me from your experience and from your observation. So there is, in general, there is a funnel, right? So we have the initial interest through ads, through different ways. It can be through word of mouth, through, you know, a bunch of different ways. So I want you to tell me, because from what I understand, from what I know, but I want you to tell me from your experience, in the initial phases, you can get a lot of interest with ads, running ads. You can get a lot of interest and a lot of like lead flow. But then tell me, per your experience, like what have you seen along the way? Like where are things sticking in terms of, you know, getting the person in the conversation and actually selling AI?
Yeah, sure. So obviously we're talking here predominantly B2B sales. So when people are running ads, at the moment, there's a lot of intrigue. So people are interested, you know, especially sort of 3 to 6 months ago, you couldn't watch anything on TV without AI being mentioned. And even before that, 6 months before that, when ChatGPT come to the forefront. So it's on everybody's mind. People are aware of it. Business owners are looking at it. The ones that sort of that show intrigue at the moment. So they're interested. They don't really know enough about it. They know it's the new thing. It's almost like shiny object syndrome, but they're curious. So what you find when you're running ads is you will generate a lot of ads. The quality of them is another thing, because traversely, there's a lot of myths out there about what AI can do. People are literally hallucinating as much as the LLM models are, you know. Some people are stupid enough to think we're in a position where the AI is going to solve every single problem in their business. It's going to generate them leads. It's going to generate them sales. We're not at that point yet. So you do get a lot of people coming through with unrealistic expectations. You do have to do a lot of work going through a lot of leads, but what you will find is diamonds will come through, serious businesses, so the sort of sweet spot I would say is companies with at least 10 employees. I'd say that's sort of your minimum. I think that's where you can add real value into an organization.
Okay, that makes sense. So tell me, Callum, what have you seen, like going in a conversation with a business owner that actually has real problems? Because there are a bunch of people on YouTube like creating AI agents, creating different solutions about, okay, you can sell blind, you can sell this and that thing, and I don't blame them, but I think that many solutions are just things that are nice to see in a tutorial video and not something that is going to actually solve a person's problem. So when you get on a call, tell me, what have you seen and how do you frame the conversation in order to get the ball rolling and for you to basically sell something?
Yeah, it really depends on the situation and what you're trying to sell, because a lot of people are selling sort of SaaS-based products. So what you'll find in the space is, people will, for example, they'll sell voice bots, and their target might be, the dental industry or whatever the case may be. So that's obviously very specific because you're going on the call to sell a specific product. And if you're selling that, then obviously you'll be having a lot of the same conversations over and over again. And that's relatively simple because you understand their pain points and you know how to hit them. But the other way that I'm selling AI services is we're generating a lead, and it could be from any industry. Okay. So, and as you can appreciate, there's many different types of businesses out there. So what that involves sort of a brief overview of what AI could do for their business. So, going into the sort of common things that help organizations. So, front end, helping them create marketing content, chatbots on websites, order bots, WhatsApp bots, Instagram bots, handling sort of customer interaction, or on the back end, handling sort of business processes. So think about if they're in manufacturing and they're dealing with a lot of data, SKU codes, for example, or doing a lot of invoicing. Those are the sort of back-end tasks that AI is very good at. So it's more sort of automations and a mix of automations and AI technology. So in order to sell that, you have to sort of have a deep dive with a business and talk about their business processes. So literally break it down into, okay, a client approaches you. Tell me the process that goes through from them becoming a client to paying the money and starting, and then talk to me about the process of once they are a client, how do you look after them? How do you deal with their data? Talk to me about customer service. So you need to break it all down and completely understand their business to look for the opportunities. And through experience, you'll understand the opportunities of where AI can basically have the easiest wins. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah, I
Yeah.
got it. And that makes sense. Cool. So I want this video to be very helpful for specifically agency owners that are already closing, or maybe somebody that is kind of struggling with closing, or let's say they're closing for different packages, let's say marketing packages, but they just want to get to the point that they are able to sell AI and sell good products with AI and good services, because many services, and I've seen firsthand, I've helped a bunch of agency owners, and I've seen firsthand that many products, many services are broken. They have a lot of holes and there's a lot of room for improvement. So I want you to tell me, I want you to tell me, like, how do you think a person should start a conversation and should go through the conversation in order to get the relevant data that they need in order to pitch the business owner a solution that they need, and how to get the trust up, because trust is a very important factor. And with a bunch of digital agencies promising the world, trust has gone way down. Do you see that too on your side?
Yeah, 100%. I think selling has changed massively, in recent years, and that's across all sorts of industries. There's no tricks with this. these sort of old school sales tricks, people are wise to it. The only way you'll sell anything now is by being an authority in the space. And that doesn't mean being someone like yourself, Vivos, all over YouTube. It means when they're having a conversation with you, they have confidence that you know what you're talking about, that you're not just there to pull their pants down and take as much money from them as possible. You need to be realistic. And when you're having these AI conversations, what you'll find is sometimes you can't help certain businesses. And there's no getting away from that. There's no point in just selling someone for the sake of selling it to them. It has to work. But then on the flip side of that, if you understand the problem that a business has and you really understand it and they know you understand it, they can't get their wallet out fast enough if they believe that you can solve that problem for them. So you just have to build that trust. You have to focus on the rapport. People buy, nothing's changed in that people still buy from people they like, that side of things. But with the AI more, you've just got to be realistic with them. And, a big thing is aligning their expectations as well, because especially for agency owners, you might be able to get a sale over the line. And if you're honest with yourself, it's a pretty shitty solution that you're selling them. And if that is the case, they're going to churn out. They're going to churn out anyway. It's just a matter of time, whether it's 3 months or 6 months, they're going to churn out. So stick to selling the solutions that are so valuable that once the business has it, they're never going to get rid of it. Until something better comes along, they're not going to move on. I think that's the magic for agency owners. They need to concentrate on those types of solutions.
Makes sense, yes. And what about the trust factor? Like, how do you build trust? Because that's very important. People can have fantastic solutions, but they don't know how to sell or they don't know how to build trust. And I also have a comment on that after you, but I want to get your viewpoint first.
Yeah, it's not just the call. So it's not just the call. Everything's got to make sense from the very beginning. There's got to be congruency in that. From the ad that they watch to the website that they go on, everything needs to make sense. People, they're trained to smell out rats. If they don't trust anything, you need to be transparent as well. You need to say where your business is based. You need to say what your business does. When they get on the call, straight talking, tell them exactly how it is, tell them exactly what to expect, and then just stay on that path. And if you can't help them, let them go. But if you can help them, you can help them, keep them on the path, ask for the business. Another great thing as well with the agencies, is case studies. So if you do find a little niche that you've managed to sell to that solves the problem, the chances are there's another 1,000 businesses out there at least with the same problem once you find it. So case studies is another wonderful thing. You don't even necessarily have to say the names of the companies. Just if they know that their struggle because you're explaining it, because you've dealt with another business very similar. If they know that, they will smell how authentic you are, and they will know that it's legit. That's something that you can't fake and you can't pretend.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's really good. Yeah. So one thing that I realized at some point, maybe a year ago or something, I had just started selling different solutions, and along the way, I sold to bigger and bigger and bigger clients. And then one day, like I sold to the biggest client actually that I had, like a multi-8-figure company. And then I was like, wow, he didn't even know me, and actually he closed. So what happened? What happened actually is that I showed him and I gave him a demo of the exact thing that he was looking for. The difference between, let's say, marketing, like selling marketing services, and selling AI, there is a slight difference, which is the case studies, as you said. Like for marketing specifically, the only thing that you can show them is case studies, like past results of other clients. Like otherwise, why would somebody trust you? Why would they be interested? But for AI, it's a bit different, and I like giving an example of selling a watch. So let's say you go to a Rolex shop and you say, okay, I want to buy a watch, and the guy shows you the watch. You're not gonna ask them for case studies or for other people previously that that how many people did you sell that watch to? Like you're not gonna ask something like that. you have the watch, here it is, and you're ready to buy. So with AI, similarly, if your systems are super dialed in and you have a very good demo, and you can have that demo in a way that people can experience it very seamlessly, either on your landing page through a VSL, video sales letter, or through an actual sales call. And it's actually really good and they experience it. And the best thing that I've found is actual sales calls with the salesperson saying, hey, okay, uh, that's good that you're interested. Do you want to just, let's say if you're selling voice, for example, do you want to just call it up and see how it is? In these cases, I see a lot of wows on my side when I give demos, and people saying, "Wow, I want that. I want that for me. I want that for my client. Plus, I want I want that other system. Can you do that thing for me too?" So it's very different selling AI and selling systems. That's on me. Yeah, that's on my side.
100%. And I think that just comes back to the trust is built with them appreciating that you understand their business and their problems. I think that's a big trust builder, as well as obviously the examples are a home run. If you can show someone a good voice bot, and also not all voice bots are created equally. I think this is a big problem, because I don't know about you, Fivos. I get a lot of cold calls now from voice bots, and a lot of them are terrible, terrible. And obviously, I mean, it's the same with anything. If you're buying from somebody who's building quality systems, the difference is night and day. It's comparing a Fiat to a Mercedes. It's literally like that. So
Yeah,
if you've got quality products, show it off.
100%.
Yeah, I think it's very hard to teach closers how to close AI, or how to be on calls, discovery calls, looking for the specific issues of the business, because you don't understand the AI systems, or you don't know what to look for. So I think that's a big gap in the market currently, is that people will not be able to spot the opportunities, and at the moment, keeping up with AI is a job in itself.
Yeah,
What
it
it's like.
is true, man.
Yeah, it's every day a new product comes out, or a new system improves, or OpenAI releases something, and then Gemini releases something. So keeping up with it is insane. But the simple way of looking at it is data. It's all just dealing with data. So if you're dealing with businesses with data, so that can be the information of a client, so people filling in forms, people making inquiries, people doing orders, anything that's sort of text-based, digital-based, be it scanning documents. So, that's not a problem now. So emails coming in, documents being read, information being extracted, sent to spreadsheets, all of these things is what AI is obviously very, very good at the moment. And then also, just to take it up a notch, obviously the voice and obviously the text. Text is flawless now. I think would you agree with that, Fivos?
Yes, it can be. And it can do a lot of stuff that before it would be a bit either difficult to do, or the consistency was not there. I mean, I also like prompt writing wise, I improved like to a level that it basically does every time whatever I need. But I agree with that. Yeah.
Absolutely. The hallucinations are getting less and less, which is obviously a good thing.
Yeah.
But again, I think this is a good thing to talk about as well, is that when you are speaking to a lot of people about AI services, and not necessarily the ones that I'd call the early adopters, the people that are sold and they just want AI, they understand it. What I'm talking about is the ones that are sitting on the fence. There's still a lot of skepticism in the market, because your average person on a day-to-day basis isn't using AI. So they don't trust it, and especially trusting it with your business or trusting it with your money, that's where the skepticism really goes up a notch. So that is a battle that is only a current thing, because we're still early in this, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're still early because if you look at it, open AI systems, for example, they weren't even good enough 12 months ago to do a lot of these tasks that we're doing for businesses on a day-to-day basis. It wasn't good enough. So we're still super, super early. I have a prediction, and I'm glad that you can put this on YouTube.
Let's do it.
Right. The whole attitude and the skepticism with AI is going to change overnight. And I'll tell you what will happen. What will change it, right?
Tell me.
And it's as soon as people are going in the McDonald's drive-through and they're ordering their food or their coffee, speaking through the speaker, and they're talking to AI. Because you know that McDonald's could do that now. McDonald's have probably already developed it. They're probably already testing it somewhere. When that is, everybody in the UK, for example, is used to using AI on a day-to-day basis. They'll want it in their business. They'll understand it a lot more. It's going to break down a lot of stigmas. That one thing happening, because I can't actually imagine anything else that's going to kick the door open as much as that does. But when it does, selling AI services to business is going to be the easiest thing in the world. You're not even going to have to be good. You won't even need to be good. You just need to be professional at that point.
Yeah, that's a very great point. Yeah, I'm thinking of companies like that, like Starbucks, drive-throughs. I think everything that has every company that has a drive-through, I think and is big enough, right? Like super big. Like these big companies can really affect that happening overnight. I think that's a great point.
I saw a great point. What's his name? Rory Sutherland. Is it Sutherland, the marketing expert guy? He said an interesting thing about McDonald's, that when they installed, the touch screens.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Sales of people going in on their own and ordering multiple burgers went through the roof because there wasn't the shame aspect.
Wow.
If you're a big fat guy and you go in there and you order 5 burgers, you look like a fat guy. But you can do it at the back on a screen. No one knows. Do you know what I mean?
That's a good. I've never thought of that, man. That's a good point, man.
So with the AI, it's going to be similar. Not only that, for the benefit of McDonald's, just to stay on this point, the AI is going to upsell every single time. It's going to, do you want a McFlurry with that? Do you want extra this? Do you want extra that? So it's going to send their sales through the roof. I'm telling you,
Yeah, that makes total sense. So I just you made a very good comment which is skepticism. So how do you personally deal with skepticism? Like, what are the things that either you say, you do more deep dives into a specific problem when there is skepticism on a call regarding AI that actually break the skepticism? I want to know these things.
Yeah, again, it's full circle back to that thing of building trust, that they understand that you understand their problems. But when it comes to the close, you're going to have to give things away, really. You're going to have to, your offer's got to be according. You've got to say to them, look, here's the implementation cost. You only need to pay X amount. You'll pay us the rest when you see it working. You've got to let them, if they want to make any changes, you've got to let them make the changes. They really are in the driving seat at the moment, the client, because that trust thing, and ultimately, if you're an agency owner, you want that client to be, it's not just I'm going to sell them something and then who cares what happens next. You want that client for years to come. So your offer really has to reflect that and be irresistible from that point of view. And the other thing, I'd say, obviously, if you're solving big problems, then it's big retainers, but be realistic with people. Try and wind it in a little bit. I would say at this point in the market, a lot of the big players. So in the UK, for example, I've had it before where we come up against the big software companies, the established software companies, and for voice bots, they'll be quoting, 6 figures for something that's a relatively simple build that you would build over the weekend. If you're dealing with small, medium businesses, you've just got to be realistic. Don't be that greedy with them. look at it as a long-term play. You know, look at it that you've built this bot for them now, but who knows, in 2 years' time, there's going to be the technology is going to move on, and you can charge them another implementation fee for another service.
Right.
You've got to have that sort of medium to long-term mindset, and not just going in for the quick buck.
Right, right. Yeah, makes sense. So you said you have to give things away, you have to kind of like be flexible, basically. But also, if you get the right people on the call, qualified leads that actually are qualified appointments, then you can just close very easily for full price and get a very, very good client and very good product across, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, things like recommendations go a long way with that. You know, you'll usually find that business owners flock with other business owners, for example. A lot of the people I know that sell AI services as well, they're using a more sort of old school approach as well. That seems to be working well. So, for example, getting involved in you know, these sort of business networking events and things like that. Obviously, we'd rather not be doing that, and you've got better things to do with your time. But at those events, you'll come across people that you'd never meet online. You'd never come across them on LinkedIn, and they're all intrigued by AI. You know, so a mix of that and possibly old school SDR as well. So sales development reps. So that's typically people in industries where, rather than, you know, marketing being run and leads being set, they're more sort of full cycle. So rather than being just a closer, an SDR is, you know, somebody who's dealing with the whole sales cycle front to back. So they'll be contacting people on LinkedIn, emailing people, or even old school cold calling on the phone. And they'll be looking to book meetings and then have the conversations and close the business. So some people are approaching it sort of from that more sort of old school point of view rather than just running ads. But ultimately, if you're having however you're having conversations with business owners, you'll be able to sell AI. It doesn't matter what you're doing.
I agree. And that was actually a very good point. You know, when about 3 years ago, I was living in Dubai, and we were going to conferences with my friend, and we were meeting people, not for AI, for another industry, but we were meeting people that they were like super wealthy, super interested in the solutions that we were offering. And also, like when you go in person, you become real to the person that you're trying to pitch the service or the product to. So it's a bit of a different level. So I would highly recommend, if you can, go to conferences like that. Definitely do that. And I'd like to talk a bit also about, let's say, for the people that want to do the online game, and want to play the online game and want to run ads, you know, ads, appointments, sales, retainers, blah blah blah, the different funnel over there. We're currently creating a solution for that. So Callum, you want to talk about this a bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's something that we've discussed in the past. We're looking at, you know, providing a sort of course or online content to help agencies sell these AI products. So it's a specific course on how to sell AI. So, you know, going into great depth about, you know, spotting opportunities, how to handle those calls, building trust. Basically, from front to back, the playbook on how to do the outreach, generate the calls, get on the calls, how to handle the calls, right through to fulfillment. So that's something that we've had in the pipeline now. So yeah, I'm excited to get that over the line with yourself, especially with your community, which is basically targeted at agency owners. So, and I know there's a lot of people struggling with this right now. So before McDonald's drive-through opens the floodgates, you've got to learn how to do it.
We need to. Yes, 100%. I agree. And by the way, also, so this is gonna be in my community very shortly, in my school community. I'm gonna have the link in the description below. And for the people that want to scale their agency or just don't want to close themselves, you know, there are people that are naturally closers and some people that are naturally like don't want to jump on calls, don't want to do that, or they just don't have the time because they're just scaling things, and you don't want to be on sales calls all day long. So we also have a solution for that. Again, Callum has recruited different salespeople for companies and helped scale their revenue very consistently. So, Callum, you can also say a few words on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the plan is to recruit and train salespeople in selling AI solutions. So we can do it as sort of a one-stop shop for agencies so that they can find someone to handle calls that's competent and from know that that element of the business is handled. Because like you say, I meet people all the time who are, you know, fantastic at fulfillment, or they're absolute whiz kids at AI, or they're amazing product managers, but they really struggle with the human interaction. And it is a skill. But the same way, I couldn't program the way you can program, Fivos, you know, so we all stay in our lanes and you can all win together, you know.
Amazing, absolutely. We talked about trust, we talked about confidence on a call. You actually need to, like, for you to be confident on a call, on a sales call, or for your closer to be confident, you have to actually have a good product there. Okay, you actually need to know how to fulfill. Because if you don't know how to fulfill, then you can't be confident. I'm always confident on calls. And personally, I don't consider myself as a natural salesperson. I just don't consider myself like that. But I'm very confident because I know what I can deliver, and I know what I have been delivering. Literally with one company, I think we had over the last 6 months, we had 5,000 conversions from AI. Which 5,000 conversions means either appointment is booked or call transfer to a sales team. So now 5,000 conversions with about, I think, 70,000 calls done. That's a very big number because not all calls are picked up, etc., etc. So you have to have your systems very, very dialed in and very, very well built so that it actually flows, it runs smoothly and automatically. So for agency owners that want to be able to unlock these streams of income, which means to be able to sell I personally help do that literally over a week. Okay, so from knowing almost nothing, you need to be familiar with some automation tools, or you need to have somebody in your team familiar with these kind of automation tools, because otherwise it's not honest on my side to say it's going to happen in a week. You need to be a bit familiar, but I basically help agency owners have these systems for their own agency, and also have systems that their clients will need and their clients will find very, very attractive, and a few things that can help on sales calls closing deals, because you have to have a good sales call, you have to have a good demo, or you have to have very nice testimonials, etc., etc. But even without testimonials, because when you start selling, if you want to unlock this stream of income, you don't sell yet. Okay, or you're selling something but it's not so good. So if you want to get to the point that you have a lot of testimonials, a lot of people, literally the agency owners that I help, one guy told me, so I helped him out, so he bought the service, and then within, I think, a week, might have been less actually, but within a week, he was able to deliver a full voice bot within an hour. Perfect systems, always working. Okay, so this is the goal that you have to achieve, also that you have to be able to fulfill this kind of systems. Yeah.
100%.
Cool. So anything else, Callum, before we wrap up?
I mean, I'd just say the only thing else I'd say is any opportunities, get in contact via Fivos's community. Find me on LinkedIn. My name's Callum Jones. If you need any help, but you know, if you're looking to sell AI services and you're struggling with fulfillment, you need to speak to Fivos. And we'll be developing something to help you sell it as well, or to help place reps in your business. So yeah, that's all I've got to say really, Fivos. But yeah, thank you for the opportunity, and yeah.
Likewise, bro. Likewise. Good to have you here again. You know, something that we didn't say, actually, Callum has been a friend of mine since how many years? Like 1 year plus, 1.5 years. Unfortunately, I have not met you in person, but soon we'll do that too.
that's the world of internet sales. You meet a
Yeah.
lot of people, but you never meet them in real life. But yeah, one day
100%.
we'll cross paths near the Mediterranean, I'm sure.
100%, bro. Okay, very good to have you here again. Thank you
No,
for being here, and maybe we'll do that again at some point soon.
awesome. Yeah, we'll do an update once we got the community going.
Cool. Sounds good.
Brilliant.
Okay, my friend. Cool.
Cheers, dude.
Thank you.